So today we're reviewing.
Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Yeah, so we have one more movie review before we get to the Thanksgiving movie
Special?
review. Yeah, special. It's not a whole series because there's not a whole heck of a lot of Thanksgiving movies. And then we'll get into the Christmas series. But we decided to review one of our favorite cartoon movies. This is definitely my favorite movie series.
Definitely a favorite.
And it's Wallace and Gromit. And there's a lot in this. There's a lot of Wallace and Gromit movies, but this is The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. So what are your overall thoughts on this movie?
This is an absolute classic. It came out in 2005, and it's a movie that literally just now that I just sat down, I was just thinking about it. I already started like humming the soundtrack in my mind. I was just thinking about my favorite scenes, funny moments. It's just a movie that I could watch any day of the week, any time, at any moment, and just watch the entire thing. There's not any boring parts about it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's hilarious. And yeah, it's a kid's movie, but I feel like it's like I could watch it now today at the age of 23 and still really enjoy it. So It's a great film, and I love it a lot.
Yeah, this is an absolute classic. It's claymation. It's very similar to movies like Chicken Run, Coraline. Definitely really similar to Chicken Run though. And I really do love this animation. Obviously the original Wallace and Gromit, you can see how aged it was, but then this is just spotless. It's definitely a great movie. I remember watching this as a kid. Just so classic. It definitely was a little scary. I remember there were scary points, especially because I was watching this as a kid. But then it's just great with a lot of things that they do in it. But I guess we can get into some specific positives about it.
I mean, I think the characters, the storyline, I really, once again, the claymation aspect to it is really cool. I just thinking back to it, some of the things I love the most about this film is just the kind of like how like Wallace and Gromit obviously are like basically pest control of the the neighborhood. They have a huge vegetable competition every single year, and it's their job to protect the rabbits or protect the food from the rabbits and stuff. And basically, I always like the contraptions like waking up in the morning, like the opening, the opening of the movie shows them taking care of like a simple rabbit. And just how cool their traps, like those like the little eyes go up on the. I love the picture frames in the house. They show like the eyes of like if that person of that town is being under attack by a rabbit or something like that. They glow up and they get like thrown out of their beds into their car. They drive there, take care of it.
How they store all the rabbits and things.
That's really cool. It's like all the like feeding the rabbits to like a little like feeding tunnel. Yeah, the carrots, just all of it. The pictures look so great. And I just feel like that stuff I really loved a lot. And a comedy I loved a lot, which I'll talk more on later on.
Yeah, the Wallace and Gromit are the main characters. They're definitely innovators. They do a lot of different cool contraptions, like you said. I love how he feeds the carrots down the tube or the drawer. And then obviously Wallace has the kind of addiction to cheese, even though Gromit gets him to not want to eat cheese. That obviously changes when he turns into a rabbit. But it definitely is, I'd say the voice acting is really good. The animation is just spot on. The comedy is probably the biggest positive for me. There's just so many funny scenes. And in particular with, there's a lot of funny characters, but there's the cop character who's up there for one of the best cops ever. And he has some great lines. Victor and his dog are great. And then they're definitely great. Some awesome comedy, and they're a great antagonist in this movie. And the comedy's definitely great, and the storyline's great. And it's just those are the biggest positives to me. I guess, do we want to go into some favorite line or favorite scenes?
Well, I think like best comedy scenes. I feel like there's just like the setting, like you said, it's kind of scary in some ways, especially if you're a kid watching it. But there's just a lot of just really hilarious scenes. And honestly, like it's once again, it's a movie that like it's a kids movie, but there's a lot of adult stuff that happens that you wouldn't get unless you're an adult. But it goes over like little kids' minds. Like there's a scene where like every time that Victor's on screen, there's a lot of times where it sounds like he's going to drop an F-bomb, but he cuts it off just before like. What the? There's a scene where like he's about to shoot his rabbit. He's like, "What the?" And then like there's another time where like he's about to shoot he's about to shoot the were-rabbit, which obviously you find out. I'm not going to mention it like really quick. But the were-rabbit is Wallace. But it's like a scientific experiment that they were trying to do to take away rabbits, and not take away, but like. Basically brainwash. Yes, exactly. Like, but that was the whole aspect. Like basically, like, he tried to shoot Wallace when he's a were-rabbit, but like a car blocks it. And he's like, "What the?" It says that again. So it's like that happens like at least 4 or 5 times. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that's hilarious. And then I feel like just the interactions with the town. I love the towns, like people, like how each place has a different like they're known for a different type of vegetable or fruit. Like, I guess vegetable.
And they're all crazy about their vegetables.
Yeah.
Like the one guy that has the car alarm locked.
Yeah.
He like clicks a key and the it's like his greenhouse is like car. It's just classic.
I think
and the priest in particular is really funny with certain scenes he has.
A scene that I feel like you had to mention though, as far as like best scene in the movie, is the church scene. This church scene, originally when they first find out about like all their vegetables were eaten like over the night, and like basically Wallace and Gromit are like sitting there like just getting like yelled at by all these people, but like the town's freaking out. They're saying like the slugs are back.
32. When there were slugs the size of pigs. Drawback's right. The slugs are back.
That line.
They're like, that's a great line. They're saying like,
here we go.
Like, there's some great lines with like the with the townspeople, the cop. There's an organist that plays really loudly. That was one of my favorite scenes. Is that scene when the priest comes in and is telling him like. It's like he's being way over the top about what this thing is. He, like eating like it sounds like he like this were rabbit's eating people, just eating their vegetables, and like
teeth
like, he's
the
just,
size of tombstones.
I forget, he says something like it's like the end of the world or something like that, and like the organist starts to play a really like deep sound like
on ourselves. Hey, give over.
Yeah, then you obviously have the one lady who's like going crazy, like pushing the cop, like we live for this competition.
We live for that competition. We're simple folk. It's all we have.
Hey.
Who will save us?
It's definitely a classic scene. That cop is really good. Yeah. And obviously then you have the dramatic scene of the priest who like says the were-rabbit and the doors open and the wind is going.
And you see the window. There's a shot of like the were-rabbit jumped out of the window. It's like a perfect shot. And then I feel like I said, Victor's like a great character. He's like his mindset is to like kill the rabbits. So like basically that's how like he would take him out. And the character we've not talked about, Lady Nottingham, I guess, or like Lady Nottingham, or like
I was trying to remember her name. Lady Toddington.
The kind of like the girl character with like the big like the red hair, like the love interest as far as like between Wallace and Victor. Victor acts like it's like his wife, and like obviously she does not like him at all. But, like there's a lot of funny moments between those two, and that's kind of like it kind of brings the tension between Wallace and him a lot too. Because like they're going after each other because they're both going for that girl. Yeah, and
good line by her. Were you gonna say that?
No, no.
The good line is when Victor gets sucked up into a thing and he almost dies, and he lands in the dirt, and she says, "Stop fooling around in the dirt." And
Stop fooling around in the dirt and have a look at me.
Just think productive, and that's a line we've quoted throughout our life so much. It shows how much this affected us. But I definitely do think it's worth mentioning. I did mention the scary aspect of this movie. Really, even watching it back very recently, there are some scary moments in this movie. There's scary imagery, like when you see the rabbit feet, the broken door. You see them leading back and turn into human feet, and then it goes. Even it's literally just showing vegetables like destroyed, which isn't like disturbing, but the way it depicts it is really scary, and especially the way that Gromit has the door open and the vegetables drop, and then you don't see they don't reveal what Wallace looks like at first. It's a lot of ways that happens is very creepy, and even when Gromit has the big car chase with him where he attaches the rope and is dragging him through all this stuff, and then underground.
That's pretty cool.
That's
awesome.
Pretty cool scene. It is really cool, but it's also really scary.
It's also a lot of fun. Even like there's a lot of movies like this where like the beginning's like perfect. I love like Madagascar. All these films like I'm not like saying 100%, but like a lot of movies where like the beginning parts of it are the best, like up until the end, and then the final act's not that great. But this final act is honestly a great final act. Like, it's entertaining. It's funny, and there's not a drop off to me. Like it's a great film all the way through. It's hilarious at the end when like obviously they see this huge tunnel going towards the vegetables, but then this old lady character is like trying to run out of there, and
they're
like,
pumpkin.
They're like come back, and then she's come back. Like they see her coming back, running so fast with the rabbit behind him. But then they see the rabbits coming towards her and they're like, go away!
yeah. Then there's the scene of the old lady shooting the freaking shotgun.
Yeah, she loses her teeth. That's how fast.
Teeth fly out with the last golden bullet.
Yeah, that was literally the last golden bullet, which that's a great line there.
Silver, 24 karat. It is gold. No, yeah, it's when Victor goes to see the priest at his house, and he checks the door before he lets him in, and he talks about the fact that he has 3. No, he says to defeat the were-rabbit, you need a bullet.
To kill such a creature would require nerves of steel and a bullet. A bullet? A bullet.
and then the thunder keeps striking, and that's a hilarious scene.
There's
It's
also,
absolutely classic. And then he finally gives him or he says 24 karat and laughs, and then he freaking grabs the bullets.
There's also a scene where Victor's about to fight Wallace, and he's running around like he's like put him up.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden when he punches, like that's when Wallace like turns into like the were-rabbit, which it's kind of funny. Like he's like he's not gonna like hurt him at all really, but like Wallace when he's in the form of the were-rabbit like stomps his foot over and over again and like bouncing around bouncing on the ground so much, and then he runs off, which is kind of scary. He howls to the moon, which is kind of scary. But then like you saw like the small rabbits, that's not that scary at all. But then there's a scene before that when Gromit knows that Wallace is going to turn into the were-rabbit at midnight.
Yeah.
Or like when the moon's like when it's a full moon, and basically like he's driving so fast, like slow down, Gromit.
I had to mention because Gromit is obviously the dog, and then there's the bad dog that they get in a literal dog. Philip, yeah. Gromit and Philip get in a literal dog fight with the planes, which is pretty funny because obviously a dog fights in the planes, but they're literally dogs, and that's a pretty funny scene with them, and then they stop and have to get out the change to keep going. Oh, there definitely is a lot of cool, unique things about this movie. They're obviously innovators in all the cool different contraptions. But I guess I have to mention one more scene that I remembered is when Wallace goes to find out. For some reason they separate, and Wallace goes way far away, and then Gromit's still in the car, and he starts hearing stuff, so he starts honking to get him to come back. But
also, they do a pretty good job of not making you know who it is for a while until you really see. You're kind of learning it as Gromit finds out. Really, like that's kind of when you find out that it's actually him that's doing. You don't really think about like, oh, that's right when he left. Then this happened. Yeah. There's also a scene I don't know if it's early on. Maybe it is early on. I don't know when it was, but the cop's walking in the streets and he's like whistling, and he hears like a sound and he like doesn't even know what it is. At that point, though, was that even Wallace?
No, it's just a regular bunny. No, it had to have been. It had to have been.
Like, he's supposed to be, like, in charge of, like, the town. He's, like, the cop of the town. And he's, like, afraid of, like, a...
He's scared of a freaking bunny. Now, see, this guy's up there with the barnyard guy and the monster house guy.
Yeah, those three. We'll do a video on those three.
Yeah.
My favorite line. Yeah, I guess my favorite line, I mean, obviously, I think that scene when he's, like... When he's in the ground playing in the dirt, and he's literally like dying. He could have like literally died, and he's like choking up dirt like from his throat. And the lady Nottingham is like, Victor, stop playing around in the dirt and do something productive. And he's literally like, he could have died. And then that's probably my favorite line is right after that. He's like, look what he's done. And he's like, his machine nearly suffocated me. It literally did almost suffocate him. So it's like, I'd say that's probably the line. And then I'd probably say that one. And then a quick scene I didn't mention before was then literally when Wallace is turning into the were-rabbit.
Yeah, I was about to say that. That's not a line. You can say it's not a line.
She like turns around and it's like she like thinks just like they like each other, but then like he's like forcing her out, but then she turns around and he looks right in the glass and like basically makes like a fart.
Yeah. And she goes away, right? It's like it's the worst scenario.
Yeah, horrible.
I guess it's kind of hard to say. I think "Beware the Moon" is pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good line.
That's a good one.
But I'm trying to think my favorite line.
Slugs are back.
Honestly, well, I really like the "cut it out" with the line from the cop and the opera pianist playing, but. I think my favorite one is the bullet line. I mean, I know it's 4 or 5 lines, but that's just hilarious to me. When he walks in, he says a bullet like 3 times, insane with a freaking smile and a thunder. And he says, what kind of bullet? And he says 24 carats.
24 carat? Get out of my way.
That whole scene is my favorite, but at least the one line from the freaking priest smiling creepily with the boys.
Well, a quick scene that wasn't in a line where when basically Wallace is on like one of his last tirades with not knowing who it is. This lady just like got done locking all these doors to get into like where her big thing was, and she tries to like unlock all the things and like it's too late and it like falls through and the entire like greenhouse falls like through the ground. So she lost her big like vegetable for the competition. And then there's also it's pretty emotional too. Like at the end, like you think he dies, and then I remember like how Gromit sacrifices his like big watermelon or whatever that thing was. It's like a cool to like get Wallace to follow him, so he kind of just shows how much like they have a great relationship, even though they kind of go at each other a little bit at times. But it's kind of like what their relationship is. But a cool relationship there.
It's crazy because Gromit doesn't talk in this movie.
Yeah, there's no mouth.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But how much character development they're still able to get without him even talking at all is really, really impressive.
Yeah. Victor has a great line telling Philip to attack this huge were-rat.
Philip! Attack! Attack!
That's actually a great scene. Where, because Philip thinks he's like keeping Gromit in the car for a good reason.
Yeah.
And, he's like laughing, and then you see Gromit lock the door, and Philip's face goes turns. He's like, his Philip knows something's about to happen.
So many.
But there's a lot of great stuff in here, and definitely recommend it to you guys to check it out. Because again, I mean, it is a kids movie, but I mean, I think adults would enjoy it too. And I think it's probably more so for us. We did grow up with it.
There's some adult humor. I mean,
but yeah, it's some great stuff. And there's a scene where also in the church scene where the Lady Nottingham has like an angel wings behind her.
Yeah.
And Victor stands behind like these two like devil
Yeah.
horns, and he's like, that's such a funny scene. That was our review of Wallace and Gromit: The Curse of the Were-Rabbit. Have you seen it? If you have, let us know in the comments, and we definitely recommend it to you guys to check it out. But yeah, stay tuned for our Thanksgiving.
Shoot, I forgot a big one. Is when I just had to mention this. Remember when they mind meld Gromit and the other rabbit? The one rabbit turns into Wallace.
Oh, he just like swings this.
Yeah, he like burps. Remember?
Oh, yeah,
But then he also turns into him, and he literally he says like "Good night, Gromit." And
well, that's true.
That's a big line.
Yeah, I guess the figure was like following his footsteps. I guess there's also a good scene where some of the rabbits were able to get out of their hutches from downstairs, and then Gromit opens the fridge and they're all gone, but then he turns around and they're all in the door and they jump on him, but then he throws them back down in the tunnels. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.